There's the Big Breakfast Show on South FM 107.2, www.southfm.com for local and international streaming. All right, time to make a very important call this morning. I see Tashia is very excited for some odd reason.
I am. I mean, I get excited for these things.
Good morning.
Good morning, Bryoni, Govender. How are you doing this morning?
I'm very well, thanks, Mushantan. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Thank you for making time and taking time out of your busy schedule to chat to us and our listeners this morning. First and foremost, congratulations.
Pleasure.
First and foremost, congratulations on all the success and being runner-up in the Miss SA pageant. However, the nation is disputing it on your behalf. I don't know if you've seen that. A lot of people are of the belief that you should have been crowned or given the title, and we are of the same belief. But you know what? It's up to the judges and all that. But how has it been post the pageant? Has it settled in that this is the new norm for you?
I think today is Friday, so today it settled in. It took a good couple of days to get that in. But every time I go onto my social media or every time I think about it, I've got to pinch myself because not only did I make runner-up, but I'm also going to represent South Africa at Miss Universe.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal for me.
All right, we're going to get to Miss Universe in a bit. But for now, let us know who exactly, and this is a question that stumps many people. However, you've probably answered this quite frequently this past week. Who is Bryoni Govender?
Okay, well, Bryoni Govender is an ordinary girl from Johannesburg. She's 27. She's an attorney. And most recently, she's first runner-up at Miss South Africa.
All right. And what was the reason behind entering this pageant?
So I entered in 2018 for the first time. And at the time, I was 21 years old. And I made top 12. And after not progressing further in the pageant, of course, I was a little bit despondent. So I said to myself, you know what, if Miss South Africa is for me, it will cross my path again. But for now, I just want to focus on myself and focus on my career and focus on growing up into who I'm meant to become. And 5 years later, it crossed my path again because I truly saw what the pageant does for not only its winners, but for each and every contestant that enters. It truly amplifies them and gives them a platform to change their life and change the life of their community. And I really wanted to do that. Being a South African Indian, we don't ever get to see women go out there and do something like this. It's very rare. It's been a good couple of years since we've had an Indian Miss South Africa, and I really wanted to change that narrative. On the Miss SA stage, I did say that I want to break barriers and I want to redefine beauty standards in South Africa.
Yeah.
And that's one step. Doing Miss South Africa and making first runner-up is one step to achieving that goal.
No, 100%. So how does one go about entering? And what is the process that follows if there are hopeful Miss SA contestants out there that want to know?
So it's actually very simple. They've made it very accessible to everyone all over South Africa. You just have to have a social media presence, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or TikTok. And you don't have to have a big following whatsoever. All you have to do is submit an entry video of between 30 seconds to 1 minute telling them why you're entering Miss South Africa, a little bit about yourself, where you come from, your age, and why you want to become Miss South Africa. And then you've got to go onto the website and fill out the form, and that's it. It's so simple. And that is why I'd want to encourage all girls out there to take that step, because it's not, yes, it is a very courageous thing to do, but if you have to look at the facts on how to go about it, it's quite simple. Yeah.
Now, do you think that you have to look a certain way to be shortlisted?
Not at all. Not at all. I think that narrative has really changed. When you look at the past couple of winners, beauty is not surface level. Beauty is what you bring from the inside. It's so important to preach that message out there, because when someone thinks about a pageant, they think about what a person looks like on the outside. But that's really not about it. Pageant is remaining relevant because of the power that the woman behind it has, and that's exactly why we need to constantly preach that message, because it's not about what you look like.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely not about what you look like. It's about the content of your character. But unfortunately, the world that we live in today does not see it that way. Do you think pretty privilege is a thing?
Pretty privilege. I think it is a thing. Unfortunately, it is a thing. And that is what we as women have to struggle and face with on a daily basis, because we've constantly got to prove ourselves. Mm-hmm. That we're not just a pretty face. We're more than that. We've got substance to who we are. And it is a thing, but it's up to us to change that narrative. It's up to us to no longer make it a thing.
100%. So what was the entire experience like for you, from being shortlisted, from finding out that you're part or made the cut, right up until they crowned you?
Wow, to be honest with you, Mushantan, it was crazy. That's the only word that comes to my mind, because firstly, everything happened within 3 months, which is a very short period of time from the moment I entered up until Sunday, the 13th of August. And before I entered, I was working a full-time job, a 9 to 5, okay, not 9 to 5, a 9 to 9.
A 9 to 9?
Job. Well, when you work in a law firm, there's no cut-off time.
Yeah.
So, I was working a full-time job, and I made the decision.
So you say was working a full-time job, meaning past tense?
Past tense, 100% past tense.
So you had to leave your job for this thing?
So it was my choice. When I decided to enter Miss South Africa, I said that I'm going to leave my job.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you the reason why is because I am an attorney, and I'm very proud of that.
Yep.
But I'll always be an attorney. Mm-hmm. And I only have one opportunity to be a Miss South Africa. And one thing about me is that I like to give 100% of myself in everything I do.
Yep.
And that's exactly what I needed to do if I wanted to give 100% of myself into Miss South Africa. Miss South Africa is a full-time job. It's not just one night on the stage walking around and answering a question. And I said to myself that I'm going to devote 100% of myself. And in order to do this, I'm going to take the step and leave my job. And that's exactly what I did.
Okay, so with you leaving your job now, how are you paying the bills?
It's tough.
The struggle is real. And we are facing a recession. The petrol price is going up, and here you are jobless. No, but listen.
The struggle is real.
And especially in the Gauteng area, it's worse there than it is here.
Yeah. Yep. Let's not talk about that.
It's depressing, isn't it? All right, listen.
Let's start our morning on a good note.
You have now been chosen to represent South Africa in the Miss Universe pageant. Just for the purpose of all those who never hear the announcement or know the reason why you have been nominated to represent South Africa. What happened to Natasha Yoba, and why doesn't she want to represent the country?
So Natasha is not eligible to participate at Miss Universe because she participated in 2020. Mm-hmm. And so the judging panel chose me as the best representative to go to Miss Universe representing South Africa.
Now that there now confuses me, because if you were the best candidate that can represent the country, then why didn't they give you the crown? I have to write a mail.
Yeah.
I have to complain.
We do.
We're going to find Karens worldwide or nationwide, and we're going to tell them, send an email. And express your disappointment and discontent. No, but okay, so she's...
But to be honest, Mushantan, I'm very content with the way things worked out. I believe that God has his hand in everything, and this was his way of making it work for my life. So that moment when I made top 2, I was so happy. Uh-huh. My heart was at so much content. I can't even describe to you. I stood there on stage. I was so calm. I was aware of everything that was happening. I could see my family screaming in the background. Mm-hmm. And I was just so thankful. And I said to myself, no matter what happens now, no matter whose name they call to be Miss South Africa, I know that not only have I done myself proud, I've done my community proud, and I'm taking this International, baby.
So at this juncture, I just want to tell you something. Although you didn't get the crown for Miss South Africa, but you must keep at the back of your mind what's meant for you, no one can take away.
Yes.
So
100%.
if you're going out to represent the country, there's probably a good chance. The odds are in your favor that you're probably going to get the crown at the next pageant. When is that one, by the way?
Is that the Miss Universe?
Yeah, Miss Universe.
Miss Universe is in November of this year.
All right, and then what's the preparations like for that? How do you have to prepare yourself, or how does one prepare themselves to go and participate in this kind of pageant?
Wow, so there's a lot of preparation that goes into it, from the outfits. There's lots of outfits that we have to present at Miss Universe. So it's about sitting down with the designer, telling him what you want, the color scheme. It's about preparing yourself mentally, because you're going to a foreign place and you are sharing a room with a foreign girl that probably doesn't even speak English, that doesn't know your culture, that doesn't know where you come from. You're going to a foreign land. It's going to be hosted in El Salvador, which is a Spanish-speaking country.
Yep.
And the pageant is about 1 or 2 weeks long. So you need to show them that South Africa is the best one to win this crown in a very, very short period of time. The most important thing for me is to prepare myself mentally. And that is just to constantly remind myself that I'm here for a reason, fuel myself with positive thoughts, positive energies. I've also got to study Miss Universe.
I was just going to
study the Miss Universe pageant.
I was just going to get to that. Is there like a series of past questions that you can go over just to be prepared for anything?
So that's how I prepared for Miss South Africa. But you can never be sure. You know what? You can never be sure, because there is no blueprint on what they're going to ask you.
Yeah. And they ask you the most outrageous questions on the spot, and then you have to try to devise something.
Exactly. But the way I do that is, in everything you do, you have to stand firmly behind who you are and what you say.
Yep.
So if you have opinion about something, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to convince everyone that your opinion is correct. But you just have to tell them why you believe your opinion is correct.
I think what you have to, if I was in a situation like that, and thankfully I'm not, I think my narrative and my outlook on things would say that please go home. Don't stand here and talk to me. Go home. Remove him now. All right, listen. Now, post the pageant and post Miss South Africa, I'm sure you're getting a lot of attention in terms of corporate backing you and wanting to work with you and all these things. So I see that Natasha has already said that she's secured 1.2 million rand worth of bursaries and everything. Does this kind of status or title give you a little bit of an advantage in terms of securing funding for community outreach initiatives?
100%, and I think that's the purpose of doing a pageant like this, is that your voices get amplified and people are aware of what you're passionate about, and they want to collaborate with you because we're sharing the same values. So I'm very keen on that. I haven't received much as yet on my side, and I think it's because I haven't stepped out onto that platform as yet to claim that power. But in the next year for my reign, that's exactly my plan. I actually want to establish my own women empowerment initiative, where we go around and helping these young women to just step into their power so that they can empower themselves and their community, because it is a ripple effect.
All right. So what do you plan? Okay, you told us that you want to go out and do these outreach initiatives to empower women. But what else do you plan on doing? Sure. Okay, if you do go all the way in the next pageant, obviously you'll have more ground to stand on. But if not, how do you plan on using the status and the titles to better your immediate community and try to change the perception and narrative and stereotypes of the entire country?
Mashantan, just me being on this platform has already awakened many dreams out there. Being an Indian woman of rich melanin, if you want to call it that.
Rich. I like the terminology.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I've been speaking to a couple of journalists these past week, and they have really taught me a good couple of words to use. Rich melanin being one of them.
How was Tando for you?
How what?
I believe you were on the drive with Tando the other day.
No, not yet. I haven't been on the drive with her. I think that's scheduled for later today.
Oh, okay. All right. I read the article wrong. All right. Continue with your rich melanin. That's one way to...
I think that's one way to describe it. I mean, I think me just being here has already awakened the dreams of many. I've already received hundreds of messages from girls and women all over South Africa, and not only in the Indian community. I think colorism is not something that's only relevant in the Indian community, but every community out there. And girls have been telling me that my confidence has given them inspiration to go out there and do something just like this. And just being loud and stepping into your power is one way of inspiring women. It's quite impossible for me as a person to change the life of many, but I can inspire others to do the same. And by me having my own initiative and coming from a life of corporate, I've seen the disparity that happens or that exists between our women in the corporate field out there. So I want to go out into communities and help these women with business skills, with entrepreneurship skills, with leadership skills, teach them how to become confident so that they can be inspired and go out there and step into their power, basically.
All right. Very quickly before we let you go, any plans to continue with law in the not too distant future?
100%. I'm very proud of my law degree. It took me many, many years to get it, many hard years of work, many long years of hard work, lots of tears, lots of sweat. So I definitely will not park that degree. But the great thing about having the degree is that it can help me in whichever field I branch into. It gives you the skills, the business skills, the business acumen. So that degree will definitely come in handy whichever direction I want to go into.
Oh, 100%. All right. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food? Oh, it has to be my mother's mutton curry.
Do you cook?
Do I cook? Sometimes, but if I'm at home, my mom only cooks.
What do you do for fun?
For fun, wow. I like to watch movies. I like to watch true crime documentaries. I love it. Yeah.
Those ones where they do reenactments of scenes, of gruesome scenes.
Exactly. Those are the ones I want. I don't want the ones where they're just talking about it. I want to see it. Wow. Live.
Wow. I'm gonna be a stereotypical Indian.
Yeah.
When are you getting married?
Well, we'll have to wait and see.
No, let's
on the agenda is Miss Universe.
Yeah, let's get that under the belt, and then you can consider that. But you know what? You don't have to stress yourself with other people's nonsense, man. Life is too short. Life is too short.
Life is way too short. 100%. You're so right. Life is way too short. That is why I encourage everyone out there to go after their dreams, even if it means quitting your job and chasing your dream. If you believe in it, believe it with 100% of yourself.
All right, how do we pronounce your name? Because I saw there was a bit of a meme that was going around on TikTok where they said that is Bryoni. That is Bryoni. This is Bryoni or and then I'm like, okay, so how do we pronounce her name now?
I haven't seen that meme. I've seen other very
I'll send it to you.
Videos,
I'll send it to you. Where they said this one is biryani. It's got rice and meat. And that one is. I'll find it and I'll send it to you. So how do we pronounce your name?
Please. So you pronounce my name Bryoni.
Bryoni?
It's a very unique
Bryoni.
name. I have to say, I've heard of a Bryson and I've heard of a Brian and.
Yeah, you've never heard this one before.
But we've never heard this before.
Yes, I've also never heard Bryoni before.
But we wish you everything of the best. We are all super duper proud of you. And
thank you so much. Thank you for your support and the support from your listeners. It really means the world to me. You have no idea. to have the support of your community, it just makes everything worth it.
Well, I think you are now the darling of everyone's eye in the community. You've given them some sort of hope to look forward to.
Yes, that's what I want to do.
And we wish you everything of the best in your preparations for the Miss Universe pageant. We will try to speak to you just before you depart, and when you come back, either or. We might not want to stress you before you leave, so we'll chat to you when you come back. However, thank you for making time and chatting to us on the Big Breakfast Show, Southside FM. It's been an absolute pleasure. We hope that you enjoyed it as well, and we wish you everything of the best in the not too distant future.
Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure, and I'm only a phone call away.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.